Welcome to this unexpected live stream, although we've been talking about updates for weeks. And this morning, Apple made the surprise announcement that iPad is getting Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, and not in some future year like 2025 or 2024, as was previously rumored. We're getting it in like days at this point. We're getting it in 14 days, 2 weeks. And so that's plenty enough time for you to go out and buy a brand new iPad, which is what I suspect a few people are going to do. But let's break down this announcement and talk about it a little bit. We have images from it. We have a description about it. We have a video where people are using it. This is all in the newsroom. You'll probably find it on any of the major websites. I'll put the link in the comments as well, so you can see that. And so we'll talk about it. We'll break down everything we know at this point, and we'll be making more videos about this, obviously, when it comes out, and between now and then, as we find out more stuff about this. And so we'll talk about it. So first and foremost, availability. I'm at the bottom of this article. It is May 23rd, Tuesday, May 23rd. They will be available. And we know a little bit about them. First and foremost, it's going to cost $4.99 a month. So they've moved Logic, in this case, to a subscription model. This is the first time we've had one of their pro apps like this as a subscription model, which likely means that they want to move to everything for a subscription model in the long run. But they're dipping their toes in it with this form factor, right? Or $49 a year. So if you pay yearly, you actually save, $10 or whatever. Cool. Plus you can get a 1 month free trial. I'll do the free trial to save me $5, but I'm going to be paying for this no matter what. Let's see, Final Cut, which we're not really talking about, but is compatible with the M1 chip later. And then the Logic Pro will be available on the A12 Bionic chip iPad models or later. So Logic Pro is actually available on more iPads than Final Cut. I've got the M1. It's going to run either one of these, I think, pretty nicely. They're really powerful. But then we, of course, have the M2 ones out there in the wild as well. So if you have an M2, of course, it'll work with it. Says which iOS you need, 16.4. And let's just go right into this other page for a second. So this is the other page. So we're going to be looking at the announcement and this page. Both of these have information, and we'll be looking for it. So questions and comments in the chat. We'll be answering these as much as we can. So Jeroen, I don't know yet about the third-party plugins. I don't know yet. I'm assuming it will work with them because it does have the ability to run the Logic ones. But there are a couple of hints to that, which we'll talk about. And Dick Mera, it is not available for just a straight purchase. The only thing that they're saying is subscription for this. So, yay, right? Everybody loves subscription models. And so that's going to be exciting, right? And I think everybody hates subscription models. I don't mind them. Especially for $5 a month. That's not going to I'm not going to lose any sleep over that, considering what it looks like we're getting. Now, first impressions of this whole thing is that this is just GarageBand that has some expanded features. There's no way that they can convince me otherwise, just based off of the images, which is not a big deal. I don't think it's a problem, as long as some of the key functionality is included, which so far they've said it will be. Let's scroll down here. Make beats, play instruments, record, edit, and mix all on iPad. Create and produce music in any genre. Let's see if that's true. I mean, sure, create and produce music in any genre. Let's see what that means to them, because up until recently, the drummer is very exclusive with what genres it produces, but that doesn't mean anything. You can always do stuff. Well, I don't know if I'm going to look at the film right now in this live stream or not. Let's see. All new creative interface made for touch. Multi-touch transforms your iPad into expressive professional instrument. You can play, create music, dynamic software, all the stuff we could do in GarageBand anyway. By the way, this plugin that's on the screen of the iPad right now is the new one, the new instrument, the Beat Breaker, which looks like it's a mangler of sorts for things and looks awesome. That's one of the things I'm actually most excited about. Let's see. So we have that screen. These are the new ways to look at the plugins in a small format. So you can see that they have all these like little tiles. They're called plugin tiles. And you'll be able to like get a little, it's kind of like the smart controls in, the desktop version of Logic where you have like access to a little bit of the plugin. And then you can expand it out to see the full version of the plugin as well. So you're not limited by this, but anytime you're on a small form factor that's a multi-touch interface, you have to design things differently. There's no way around it. So far, it looks like Alchemy, we've got the performance pads. EQ, we've got the analyzer plus the curve. Step effects, we have the little matrix. Chromaverb, we have the rainbow colors. And then we have key information from each of the other plugins they're showing here. Alchemy there has A, B, C, D, so that's like the ability to, A, B, C, D. So that could be each of the sound sources. I'm not sure. That's actually a little bit different. Let's look at project navigation. So this view right here looks the most like GarageBand to me, with some additional buttons at the top. And then a bunch of buttons at the bottom as well. Here, they are saying you can import directly from GarageBand into the new Logic Pro. We could do that with the other Logic, our existing version as well. But we can still do that. This, for me, is perhaps one of the most exciting parts of the whole thing. The Apple Pencil and keyboard integration. So you can draw automation. So that's going to be super exciting. I'm looking at the comments, just checking. Let's see. At least it also explains what the team has been working on the past. Yeah, it's like they've been ghosting us pretty much until this moment, for sure. And so being able to draw automation with the Apple Pencil, that for me is one of the things I'm most excited about. Because you can do automation with a control surface, right? You can do it with a mouse. You can do it with other... those are really the main two things. But now, adding the Apple Pencil means you can do some really nice precision editing in that interface. That's with the keyboard. I don't want to play sound. So no sound, but... we've already had the ability to do the step sequencer using the Logic Remote app. So, just putting that out there, I don't know. That's not, for me, it wasn't the biggest draw point because we already had a lot of that stuff. Fresh sounds, endless inspiration. So this is one of the new things they're talking about, the sound library. Quickly find and discover new sounds, keeping you in the creative flow, get inspired, ever growing. So this would be one of the reasons why, or how a company justifies a subscription model is by saying, we're going to keep on adding things. That's why you're paying every month, right? Because we're giving you new things all the time. Really, it's to help pay for, all the stuff that Apple's paid for with this, but that's how they're going to say, let's do this. So this is, the sound library is the one from GarageBand, essentially, it looks like. They've been working on that for some time. I hope there's some sort of new innovation with it because it's not great in its current state. So we'll see how that looks and what new features come with that. But we have the browser over here. It looks like sounds and settings. So instrument patches, audio patches, loop samples, plugin presets, patterns. So the browser now, we're going to be able to drag and drop things like plugins. I mean, you can't do that any other way in a touch interface like this. We're not going to have to like go and insert something. So the new touch interface for the browser is going to be a big deal. So let's see, discovery. Looks like we're going to have some search filters and terms. Let's hope we can customize that and create our own type of things. And then the sound library. So those are the things that we've already had. We've even had most of those in Logic, but hopefully they're going to be expanding, I guess. See all your sounds in one place. Quickly view available instrument patches, audio patches, plugins, samples, and loops. You can audition each sound right from the browser. Let's see what the discovery changes. A predictive filtering system makes it easier than ever to discover your perfect sound. That sounds a lot like what Waves just said with their new subscription model. I mean, seriously, it's like everybody's trying to do the same thing. Get instant access to expanding collection of royalty-free loop samples and instruments as well, by downloading free sound packs inside the app. Okay, we'll see what that means. There's a little asterisk there, or a number. We'll see what that means later. Play on with Pro plugins. And you know, I see the comments in there about a Logic 11. I think this is going to be like a Logic 11. I mean, they're changing the money scheme. I don't know if they're calling it Logic 11, but I bet you that this is. Let's see. Shape the sonic character and tone of your music with hundreds of powerful instruments and effects. I mean, again, we've had some of this functionality in Logic using the remote app. But now we're working on it directly on the project. So we'll see. I mean, yes, there will be Q Coletti. There will be a Logic for Mac update at the same time. Partially because some of the things we haven't talked about yet. One of the main things being that we can open up our projects in either place. So we can take our desktop projects and open them 100% on the iPad and continue working, and then take those back into the Mac. They're saying that in the announcement that you can do that. So we'll see if this has any more information about it. But because of that, there'll have to be an update for the Mac version as well. Plus the Beat Breaker plugin and any of the other new features that are there. I agree, Bozen, about hopefully the Mac one not being subscription based, but if it is, it is. We'll see. So sample alchemy, transform any audio sample into a malleable sound that you can perform with just a finger using the sample alchemy. So is that's like a new version of alchemy then? That is. I mean, I'm looking at the screen there. It's a little bit dim. Okay. So there's little like node points on the screen that you can trigger various things. I can't see it very well. It's a little bit fuzzy. Cool. Software instruments. So it looks like so far those are all just like our normal instruments. Man, that one, if that's retro synth, I can't tell what that one is. The blue background, but that interface actually looks super clunky. I'm just saying. That the one in the bottom left-hand corner there. And effects. So of course, those are the effects that they would show because they're the most colorful. Let's see. Make the beats top the charts, because Apple can definitely promise you're going to top the charts, right? Oof. Program beats and bass lines or craft the perfect custom drum kit for your project. Transform any sample into a new instrument. Reshape melodies and rhythms with just your finger. Cool. That's fine. Beat Breaker. I don't want to play that out loud. So you'll have to check that out. I just don't want to trigger anything. I might have already, but I don't think so. So this is one of the new instruments or effects, kind of mangler both. So check that out. It's the time and pitch morphing function of Beatmaker. Lets you swipe and pinch to radically reshape and reshuffle sounds instantly. I'm so pumped for that. We've had stuff like that in other applications like FL Studio. And I think Ableton has some stuff similar, but we're getting another really cool tool that is going to help us be creative in Logic. I love it. Quick sampler, nothing new there. Step sequencer, so far nothing that I know about new there. Drum machine designer, we've had that. I mean, they're having to market this to people who've never maybe used Logic at the same time. And then, of course, the full live loops as well. Level up your mix. So here's something we're all interested in. Adjust faders and other controls intuitively with touch, just as you would on a real mixing console, and speed through even the most demanding mix. So here, let's take a look at the mixer for a moment. And so we can see that, what's happening here. Let's take, first of all, we have the instruments and the effects, the sends, the pans. I wonder, they're not showing us anything here about Atmos, which would be ironic if we get a version of Logic on iPad that they say can go back and forth, but then there's no Atmos functionality. That would be interesting. We'll see. And I'm looking at the comments as well still. Izzy Wizzy. 49 isn't bad as long as they keep doing it. And maybe this infusion of cash into their team will help them update it more regularly. I mean, we all know what they've done with GarageBand for iOS, and they've barely done anything with it for like 3 years. So let's hope that this is a different situation than that. Some buttons around here. I am excited. I am excited to have a full actual mixer instead of what GarageBand on iOS does, which is not a mixer. This is a form that I do like. I do speak that language. Okay, so command a full-featured mixing console complete with channel strips, volume faders, pan controls, plugins, sends, and precise automation. Let's see. I'm just watching this guy jam out. Because that's how we mix. Everyone pay attention. I'm just kidding. That's not really. Automation. Great. Looks like we have some various tools up there to help with that. And they mentioned track stacks. So, we can't have Logic without track stacks in any format, it seems like. Okay, advanced features for pro workflows. Everybody ready for this? I'm a little tongue-in-cheek, but I'm super excited for this. There's no way that I'm not excited. I'm super excited. Round-trip compatibility. Easily move your Logic projects between Mac and iPad to create in the studio or out on the road. Or in the studio with your iPad. If you have a full version of this and have an interface, why do you need to have something else like a laptop to run Logic? That's the question. Maybe you want to have the big multi-screens, but even iPads can do external monitors. So I don't know. Here's the next big thing. Tap into compatible third-party instruments and effects right in your Logic projects. Download apps from top developers like Eventide, FabFilter, and Moog Music on the App Store. So it's going to be the ones that are App Store. The AU version 3. AUV3. That's what I'm guessing, because those are the ones that they're talking about. Those are the ones that are currently available. Frankly, we've needed something like this to push us, because there's a lot of potential for companies to be developing things. And they've stalled out the last few years. They really have. It's like Arturia was making musical instruments, new ones. Korg was making them, and they've all kind of like petered out. I don't think that they found as much money in there as they were hoping. Something like this could revitalize a lot of that, but we're not there yet. Tap, let's see. Studio hardware. Dun, dun, dun. Plug your favorite gear using compatible third-party audio interfaces, MIDI interfaces, and controllers from leading manufacturers like Apogee, Focusrite Innovation, Universal Audio, and more. Cool. So that's kind of what we've been experiencing with iPad previously. But hopefully we'll have some sort of system to really give us control over the interface. Let's see. Ableton Link, that was a new thing that we've, not a new thing overall, but we've got that in Logic recently. So it's nice that it's here. Excuse me. And then sidechain routing. I love that they have to tell us that they have sidechain routing, and it's not just an assumed thing, but cool. Sidechain routing. We got it. Questions. Cost. Which iPad you need. And then some of these points down here. Let's see. Trying to see if any of the additional bullet points at the bottom change anything. So that says number 4 requires compatible third-party audio unit extensions from the App Store. I wonder if that'll change in Europe, where the EU has required sideloading be a function of future versions of iOS. If you'll be able to sideload things. We're not doing that in the United States yet, but theoretically, that could be an issue in the future. Okay, so the rest of it just says, any devices you hook up have to be compatible with iOS. So you're going to want to make sure that that you're paying attention from now on to what you buy. Okay, so that's what we've seen so far. I don't know. It doesn't tell me everything. I wish I could see a full spec sheet on this in terms of compatibility, or the manual, right? That's what I really want, is the manual to see exactly what we're doing. So here we're back up. Here's the little plug-in clips, or what are they called? I've already forgotten. Tiles, the plug-in tiles. These little things right here. So the keyboard at the bottom, shortcut buttons, the plug-in tiles, and then all the other part there. I have so many questions. Is it, down to the sample level editing in the main window like we have in Logic, or are we limited? Can we... Let me think. What other questions would I have? Do we have all of the plugins? I mean, did they update things now because we're on this format? Like, we have a bunch of Logic plugins which are still the old format. The stereo spreader is one of them. There's a few others. I mean, it's like we still have old things. So are they now going to finally update all the interfaces for those, or just drop them off? Or, it's like so many questions. Let's see. Charles says, I think the $5 sub is mainly to discourage people wandering into the Apple Store. Yeah, that could be. I don't know. They're still going to be able to do that. Real excited. I think that sounds right for the 2020 iPad. I'd have to look and see exactly which one has the A12 Bionic. But that's the one. Dietrich, thank you so much for the super chat. How do we get signal into the iPad? That's through an interface or the built-in microphone. But I have a SSL12 USB-C interface. It has 4 mic pre's, 2 headphones out, plus light pipe, so I can do another 8 in. And it works with my iPad just swimmingly. So that'll be my new interface when I'm doing things on the road. I am in abundance says I think there will be a major update to OS X logic to make it similar to the iPad app. I think so too. And we have a wavetable synth in there, but it's not what I would call a flagship at this point. It is. They have a wavetable synth and retro synth, but it's relatively limited for sure. Q Coletti says, you think we will get info on the Mac OS version before? I doubt it. But maybe. We'll see. And then, yeah, Boson, the Logic developers and beta testers seem really loyal. It's amazing that this didn't leak at some point. This is one of the first big announcements in recent years that I didn't hear in advance. Well, that's not true. Mac, one of the big websites did have an article like last week about the iPad version of Logic coming. They just had the timing wrong. So, I mean, maybe even the beta testers didn't even know that, though. I mean, who knows? Yeah, it was 2024 and 2025, and now they're both coming in 2 weeks. And we're not even talking about Final Cut at this point, which I'm going to be using for some things, like the writing the text on projects kind of thing. I mean, I don't know how much I'll use it, but I'll definitely use it. So let's look just for a minute, give you a sense, AUV3 on the iPad store, right? So filters, we'll do popularity. I don't even know if that's the right one. The Mi Rack, that's AUV3. We have a bunch of analysis tools, some instruments. One thing you're going to notice is that not a lot of these come from companies you've heard of, unless you use all these stuff a lot anyway. We have some really amazing synthesizers. The Fab filter, I'll have to buy that at this point. Maybe, where is it? Filters, relevance, okay. Oh, you can't see them all. These are just the ones that are actually compatible with the Mac as well. So I have to go into the App Store for the actual iPad to see those. But they've got some great EQs, reverb tools, and nice things to expand, but I don't know which of them then will work in both places. Is the AUV3 version for iOS or iPadOS compatible with the larger version that's on desktop or laptop, you know? I don't know. Ooh, okay, so let's see. So the Fab Filter bundle is $120. That's still a really good price for what those are. Those are great plugins. But I'm not going to get them if I mean, this is an argument right now for running stock plugins in Logic, right? Because if you want to go back and forth, it's going to be a nightmare for a while. It's going to be a nightmare. Because if you have a bunch of plugins you use in one place but they don't work in the other place, it's like, what good does having compatibility back and forth? And so I've already for many years been a big proponent of the stock plugins in Logic. And this will just be a great time to go through and be like, you know what, let's really talk about the stock plugins, because you're going to want to be using them for a bit until you have both of those happening on both sides. Q-Coletti, I think, yes, I think they already have in the past. A number of companies have done stuff. But with this, with an actual tablet getting like one of the first pro level digital audio workstations, I think a number of them are going to perk up and be like, okay, I think we should do this. But there's a lot of stuff that isn't there currently. So, for instance, Waves. Now, Waves is partially there. I don't know if any of you use Cubasis. You can buy you can expand Cubasis with like a handful of Waves plugins, and so I think that's pretty exciting. Let's see if I have anything else that is coming in on the news. So we'll see. I think we'll see what that looks like. I'm excited. I'm super excited to see what's next with it. Just since we're on a live stream. Cool. Making sure I don't have any meetings. I just like ditched my calendar for the morning. I do have something. Do I need to go to that meeting? Looks like I do. So I've got a meeting on Zoom in 7 minutes, and then we'll figure out what else we need to talk about this afternoon. I'll probably do another live stream later today with any other things that have come out and comments and things that people have found in the screen images and documentation provided by Apple in advance of this. So check back this afternoon. We'll be talking a little bit more about it. Thanks everybody for watching this stream. I've got a couple more minutes, so we don't have to jump off yet, but let's see. And I'll actually bring my iPad down and we'll look at some of those things, because I have my favorite plugins for iOS that I don't have them for Mac OS. So it's like, how is that going to work? How is that going to work? Question, how is this going to change my teaching? Well, it's not probably going to change my teaching too much, because I am teaching a Logic class at the university this fall. And if you want to like become a non-degree seeking student and become a CU Denver student, it's going to be on Zoom. It's a whole semester of Logic Pro, and it's going to be, I think, a lot of fun. I think it'll be actually really cool. And now we'll be able to do some of this stuff on in that format. So I think that's really awesome. I'm trying to see exactly when that is. Looking at my schedule for the fall, see how many students we have. Let's see. Too many things on my screen at once. Whoa, that's weird. Weird courses. That didn't work. Okay, cool. I'll have to look it up a different way. Okay, cool. Let's see. Yeah, so, well, like I said, I'll be back this afternoon with another stream. We're going to do 2 streams today. This was the one I was getting my hair cut, and I saw the announcement on my feed, and I was like, okay, wrap it up. Got to get home do the stream. So I literally pulled this website open as we did the stream. So figuring that out, but now I need to dig in a little bit, see what other information we have, and then we'll do a follow-up stream this afternoon. Cool. So come back this afternoon if you're free. I'll try to post it up an hour in advance so you know when it's going to be. And that's it. So I'll talk to you all later. For now, thanks for jumping on, and look for more information soon. Let's see.